I'm going to ask the council if they have anything to add to the agenda.
I did bring some copies of the budget amounts that we agreed on, just so everybody would have a copy of that and what the totals ended up being. And the sheriff's department, I know we still haven't got that, but I brought another copy of the recommendations that Danny and I gave to Brian.
I'm going to add just a few comments, really nothing much, but to talk about the property on 491 Jack Wright with the houses being taken down. Also the Pat Stanley House, the resolution for law enforcement, and the committees that was developed to get these taken care of for the committees, and Art Pardon with the Oakwood project. So those are the things I'm adding. Plus, I contacted the Fold. Is supposed to be trying to get us something together for the city of Crittenden on the side of the SUV out here, for the back of the SUV. It says the city of Crittenden on it, a seal. So the Fold is trying to make us something that's going to be applicable and put on there instead of painting something on there that would cost over expensive amount.
Danny, you had asked me to make a copy, and I put that in this packet.
Yeah, that there here on here was talks about marking the city vehicles. I don't think magnets, if you're still talking about magnets, or you're talking about like a decal.
Decal.
Oh, decal would be great, because it's marked. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it says both. I think it says both sides, doesn't it?
Yep.
Has to be at least 12 inches in width and not less than 21 inches in length.
There's the magnets itself for the code enforcement is larger than that. And then if we get one that says City of Crittenden on it.
I'm just worried about somebody, if you leave the magnets on, like if you go to Walmart or something, doing city business, somebody taking the magnets off or something. But if you had like a seal, like on the truck that, the city's truck that JD drives, nobody can steal that decal off there. I mean, they can scratch the heck out of it, but they can't take it.
So that vinyl probably could be stolen, right? Like they could peel those?
The magnet?
No,
Yeah.
not the magnet. That's not going to Walmart or any place else other than going to a residence that needs to be cited.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we talked about using that if we had to go to training.
We do, but we don't put the magnets on it.
Well, then it's a city-owned vehicle, it has to be decal. KRS 186.067.
That's fine, we're looking into it, but do you think that those vinyls can be taken off?
No, just like on police cruisers, the decals on police cruisers, when they sell the car, it takes somewhat time to get them, to get the decal off.
Okay, all right, he's looking into that for me and for us, and the guy that runs the Bolton, Carl Jackson. If that's something that, once we get it and look into it, if it doesn't stick, then we can do something new. Is that okay?
I think the vinyl on the windows or whatever on the side. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones you put on and you can't just, it takes some doing to get it off. Cole does those.
Oh. Yeah, he said he thought he might have something, but I was confused whether they were stickers or vinyl. Other than that, anybody else got anything? Sure. We can start with the brick house on 208. I guess everyone, Danny looked it over, that inspection report that you guys can look at and decide whether, what you want to do there. The reason I brought that up and had that inspected is because if you all decide that you want the house down, that it's not worthy and how much it was going to take to put into it, then Mr. Wilson had gave a bid of $9,000 to take it down, and that's with everything. And while he's up there, so in your mind, if you feel like this is something that he's going to be done probably by the end of next week or the following week with everything else. Go ahead, Dan.
Can we get the JD to work with the inmates to get the trash out of it? Because I offered to pull the garbage cans up when the trash ran, and JD said that they were gonna let, Wilson was gonna let them dump the stuff in the dumpster with some inmates, and that was
He
on
was
the.
gonna charge us.
Huh?
He was gonna charge us for that, to take it, it's.
I understand,
Yeah.
I understand they're not, nobody's gonna do it for free, but the inmates can do the labor for free.
But do you guys, by looking at this, think that we should, well, we wanna wait and, did everybody have time to look at it or see? I don't know much about.
Can I share some thoughts on
Sure,
it?
go ahead.
And it's just a possibility. Before we demo it, I'd like to know what the value of the property is. So that
Okay.
we,
I got those numbers for you, because you sent me that email. And as of last year, the PDA had it at 95,000
Wow.
for the house and 4 acres. The little building that had the asbestos in it was that building, 0.41 acres, they had it assessed at 35,000. Now they have it all assessed at 235,000 because that was what the city paid for.
Mrs.
so-
Worthington might have gotten that as a
So we
homestead
demo-
exemption, right?
No, because she didn't live there.
so if we demoed it, the write-off would be 35,000. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
Well, the 35,000, that was for the little building that had the asbestos, that wasn't for the
that
house.
was his storage.
Okay, well, what's the value of the
What
house?
if we
in
get
front?
PVA to come down and give another value, because I'm sure they probably didn't go in the home or.
Because they had a house and 4.2 acres is 95,000.
PVA will not enter a house for
They won't.
property valuation, no.
But if we're gonna get a real estate agent to come in and see what it's worth, I recommend that all the trash get out of there.
The PDA will come and give us, they will assess it, they just
From the
won't go in.
outside of
They won't go in, they'll,
Okay.
from the outside.
Here's the point, let's leave the number up in the air and take it as an IOU to get it. But whatever we demo, the value of that house has, that's an expense, and that's that much more money that we have to recover when we sell the entire property. But here's another thought, whatever developer comes in over here, let's say they're building a restaurant, let's say they're building a hotel, let's say they're building a business, they're gonna need a field construction office. In other words, they're gonna move trailers in, they're gonna have to bring power to it, they're gonna have to bring water to it, they're gonna have to bring sewerage, whether it's porta potties or something. That building could be used by the developer as a field construction office for whatever grand things are done. Then the cost of demoing it is on their backs versus
Right.
ours.
I agree.
That's just a thought. The other thought is, $9,000 doesn't sound like a bad price, but I think we better throw in another 8 or 10 for asbestos they're gonna find, because this is pre-1977. I'd bet money that there's a,
Well, the EPA already stated, since it's part of that demolition, that they had to be inspected for asbestos.
yeah. But that, my point is, that cost of demo and that cost of asbestos abatement could be on whatever developer is doing that work. The building would have value as a field construction office. Let them demo it.
I just didn't know what the council's thought was, if they wanted to keep it to remodel for, I know we talked about before, a senior citizen center or a community center, if it was valuable enough that we could do that without sticking a lot of money into it, because I wanted you guys to see what would have to be done.
And I will, as a treasurer, I will tell you all, we're already 291,000. That's adding in, we haven't paid for it, but the cost of Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
So,
You said not counting Mr. Wilson?
It
or
is.
counting him?
it's 291,000 and something.
Well, I still think we can use the inmates to clean it up. They can, because it would have still been closed in, if I hadn't opened up those 6 windows on the 12th when Todd, Jennifer, and I went and inspected it. There was wet carpet in the basement on the concrete floor, and with no dehumidifier, no ventilation, no electric, and you're only having a great science project growing in there if we don't get that wet carpet out. And yeah, it's gonna cost something to fill up those dumpsters, but I pretty much think that one dumpster should pick up everything that's out of there. I looked at the ceiling, the rafters aren't laying on the tops of the wall. They're all from the outside of the house in. So there's a lot of stuff that could be done on the inside of that house. It doesn't look like it's a load-bearing wall, but it's been a while since I've done construction. But the inmates can paint, sand, drywall, and
Bleach it.
bleach it. Now, we don't know about the electric working because the electric was already shut off, so they couldn't check that.
Well, he said in that the electric would have to be updated.
Well,
That it
the
was-
outlets,
Yeah, the outlets.
that's,
Now, the electrical box looks pretty good.
yep, it had an inspection sticker of 1979.
That's right. Yeah, 79.
And if it was up to code for them to live in it and rent it out, then no attention was brought to it. So the inmates working and getting the trash out of there, I think is the big thing right now. Cutting the grass. And somebody said something about the sewer line. We got somebody in Public Works that used to maintain sewer lines. So, I mean, that could be easily fixed if somebody told me Wilson cut it by accident or whatever. So it shouldn't be that hard to get fixed back up. Right now, it's not costing us anything, right? The electric's turned off. Inmates clean it up. All we do is pay them lunch and the gas back and forth. Paint, there might even be some paint left in the basement downstairs that they can use.
Did Tony Ashcraft, is he the one that said it probably needed all that drywall taken off there and go down to the studs?
I don't know why you would do that.
Mold.
I did not see any mold on that, but I don't think the guy did a mold test to find out what kind of mold it is. But I will tell you, the more musty stuff inside the house with it closed up, if I hadn't opened up those windows, yeah, it probably been whatever. Now, the electric was on when the food was in there. I mean, I'd be willing to go save the city some money and clean out the refrigerator. I mean, open up the door, because that's something that could be used for the inmates' snacks when they're working in there, or whatever.
And we still really haven't determined what we're gonna do with the property. Are we gonna sell it? Are we gonna keep it? You know, where's our long-range plan?
And if I'm gonna sell a pig, I'm not gonna get as much money out of a dirty cow or a dirty pig that's got mud all over it. I'm gonna get more money out of a pig if it's clean and looks nice. People are like, I don't want that old nasty dirty pig, I want this nice one. So it gets cleaned up and it'll be good.
Clean that big up.
So you think that it would sell better with the house there and cleaned up?
I do.
With the house there, yeah, because like Joe said, you need a construction trailer, you need an office building to work out of.
And my proposal was not to rehab this back anywhere near new or rental property or us put in rehab. Let's make it good enough for a field construction office. And field construction offices really aren't any better than what we've got right now. Take the mold and the trash out of there. And I would bet any developer that buys all of that would demo it anyway. My thoughts.
Thing about it is do we want to sell that with the property? I mean, if we could get it cleaned up and it wouldn't cost us $70,000 or $80,000 to do it, I mean, it would make a nice senior citizens.
Center, well, it'd be better than what's underneath what they're now, because I'd like to have my mom and dad be able to go to the senior citizens way.
So the next step would be, whatever you decide, as council, to have a contractor come in and give a bid of what,
I think we need to get it cleaned up before we have a contractor come in.
but what I'm saying is, the contractor comes in, and also you gotta figure in, asphalt or concrete, you can't do gravel.
Well, I'm confused on what basis.
Like if you wanna do a senior citizen center, you have to do handicap ramps and so forth, you gotta,
Can we put that decision down the road?
yeah, I agree.
Maybe I didn't describe what I was
Wait a
thinking
minute,
well
guys.
enough.
If we put this decision down the road, we might end up with another problem like the Stanley house.
Well, we're not gonna rent it out unless somebody sells it, somebody might wanna put
The
a donation
Stanley house
shop
was
there.
empty.
Do what now?
The Stanley house was empty.
Now, people were squatting in there.
Well, what's to say they won't squat in that
Well,
one?
hopefully, we're gonna call 911 and somebody's gonna arrest them for trespassing, that's what I'm hoping, that's what we used to do in the old days.
Okay,
I'm
For
sorry.
point of clarification, aren't we gonna offer that property, that house, as part of the overall sale of the property as a total package drawn, circle around all of it, it's offered up for the sale?
I feel the same way, Joe. I don't think that we do not need to be landlords. Crittenden, listen,
I
if there was
agree.
a large corporation came in here and they drove down through here and they saw that piece of property that was for sale, they're more apt to put something there, a big business, something nice, if it's clean, if it's, the slate is clean. They're gonna come in there and they're gonna look at that and they're gonna say, well, you know, we gotta spend this much money to tear that down. Why do we want to fool with that? Let's go on down to Dry Ridge or go on to Walton, you know? And I think that's been Crittenden's problem all along. And I'm speaking from experience. I mean, I've been on council, you know, for quite so many years, and it's like, we want growth here. We don't want the same look that we have now. We don't want another house sitting there, you know, you want businesses to come to the city. Is that not what, am I off base somewhere? Am I like, you
I'm kind
know?
of, oh, well.
No, but I'm like Joe, I think that, I think if we clean it up, and especially mow it, and clean it
Trim the
up
bushes.
that way, so that it looks okay on the outside, they're gonna be more apt to, I don't think a big company is gonna care about that house. If they want that property,
They're
they
gonna
they
demolish
mow
You
it
really
down
think,
anyway.
okay, if I was the CEO or whatever of a large, say, Rulers, and I came down through here, Crittenden doesn't have a grocery store, and I'm thinking, man, you know, this would be really good for something to come to Crittenden. I'm thinking about, you know what, that would be a nice piece of property. Well, I'm not gonna put a Ruler grocery store in behind a big brick house. I don't care if it's senior building, I don't care if it's a police, I don't feel like they would do that. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
You don't think they would tear it down?
I don't know that they would. I think that we would be more apt to sell it, and that, am I not?
I understand what you're saying.
That's why we started this. We want to sell that back. We don't want to keep it. Do
Well, in January, when we
we?
had
We
the
want to
meeting,
sell it?
Well, that's what I don't know.
in
We want to get our
January,
money back.
in January and February, when we talked about that, we talked about, and people brought up that we need a place in Crittenden for the senior citizens, because you wanna talk about mold, I don't wanna say that, but the small place underneath the post office for the senior citizens to go, there's not much there. We talked about, I thought the majority of the people, if not everybody, said, yes, let's look at doing that, let's do it. Because if we didn't, we should have said the heck with it in the beginning, that was all gonna be bulldozed down. But I could have sworn we
I've
talked
been
about
on
keeping
board
it.
to vote to just clean it
I'll have to
out,
look at my minutes.
to dose it. I think we need to clean it all out.
We do need to
And that's
clean
my
it up.
personal opinion, but everybody's got their own vote. You know, that, everybody has their own vote.
Hold on just a second. Adam, did you sign in?
While he's signing in, if I was a developer coming in, I don't presume that the city would do my pre-development for me. And the cost,
We stay there.
as the mayor's found out, was $9,000 for a demo. It's probably gonna cost $9,000 to put temporary trailers in there for a year while they build it. I think it's a wash as far as, from a developer standpoint, whether that's a big deal or not. So the question is, do we want to put $40,000 or $50,000 into it now to make it nice to attract a developer or not? That's an interesting question. Frankly, I think we've spent, just from my standpoint, we've made a lot of presumption about what a developer might want.
Can I say something? Couldn't we get somebody like Carol Jackson to come down here and tell us what she thinks? Somebody with, experience that knows, you know, this,
Contract.
right, that, what it's worth, and which way's the best way to go.
On our piece, I agree with you saying, didn't we have some discussion too about some contact potential buyers? Even albeit soft discussions.
Mr. Powell Chevrolet, Walters owns that property behind there. And that's just short of $1 million. He asked if the city was interested in it. But he said that he was interested in that property, the 208. He just didn't want to do the work as getting the trailers out of there, the cleanup, evicting the people and everything. So you know, you might consider, you know, maybe talking with him if he was interested in the house or the house and the land together. But here's the kicker, he won't tell what he's wanting to put in there. It could be a truck stop. That's my inclination with him. So that's what you guys might want to think about, you know, have conditional uses on it. It needs to be rezoned
Yes, it's what.
and get conditional uses on it, because that way you don't have something coming in, you really don't. Let's let Adam, he had something.
Well, I was just thinking, you guys got a lot of good ideas. If there's a back easement out of that to buy the road, there should be, I believe, just by where Eagle Bank or Fort Bank, wherever in there. Then you've got the potential to partition that off into two. If there's 4+ acres, you can keep the house for the senior center with what working you need, and then partition the rest of it off, specifically now that's cleared. Kill both kind of things you both want to do here, and I think the bare land will probably get a lot more to recoup.
I do have, how many copies? I have, oh shoot, I think I left them on my copier. I have a plat of the property, and I think it does back up there.
So there is another outage to that, or an entry? Is it that by Fort Bank?
Between Marathon and
Yes,
Fort.
it's, yeah.
I have it right here, if you want to look at it.
My understanding, Mary Worthington still do that.
But you don't own that easement, there's an easement between
Yeah.
Right.
Buck Walker's land and
So,
that
and there's also.
land that the city bought, there's an easement
So
through
that
there,
road is right here.
deeded easement.
It goes on the other side.
Uh,
It's confusing.
I was thinking up here.
Where's that easement take you out of? On the valley?
On the valley beside Fort Bank.
Yeah, I think Worthington's.
Technically, I'll be honest with you, technically, when we bought that land, that lot up there on Violet Road, I was under the impression, I think the rest of the council was under the impression that that land went with it too. But apparently that lot didn't go.
Which lot you talking about, Ronnie?
Right beside Fort Bank.
No, he kept that.
Well,
Yeah.
when it was described for sale to us, though, it was indicated that it was going with it.
I looked at that too, yeah. That's a prime piece of property right there.
I just think that, I'm in agreement with Danny and Joe, I think, that we clean it up, mow, trim those trees, and just take our time deciding, you know, we don't have to decide anything today about what we're gonna do with it, but at least it'll be cleaned up and it'll look better, because it still looks really bad right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Between now and the time of the second, which is the next meeting, is there a way to find out how much will it cost to take it down after the bond? So we got a price difference of
Yeah.
that and have the PBA come in, say the house is gone. What is this worth industrially? What would that land go for that?
Commercial.
Not that I'm going either way, but I like having more than one option.
Jennifer, to your point, as far as